Hey, welcome to Integrative Preparedness. I'm Steve Smith. How are you all today? I'm going to do something a little bit different that I don't usually do these. I'm going to do an unboxing of something that I just picked up. Just ran over to the range and picked up something that I had ordered from Kentucky Gun. I get a lot of my stuff from them because they got great deals. And this was just too good of a deal to pass up, so I'm going to show it to you and explain to you kind of why I got it. It is a High Point. Right now, everybody's going, "Oh, ugly guns." Well, I'm going to talk a little bit about that. I don't know if they're ugly or not, but it's JXP10. They're 10 millimeter. That's one of the reasons that I got it. Let me explain it a little bit before I talk. Why did I get a 10 millimeter? I really wasn't in the market. I didn't care about getting a 10 millimeter. I know it's the big thing right now, but I've always carried a 45. And so I didn't see any purpose for a 10 millimeter. However, because, and people, I know that people will say, well, it's more powerful and it's all this and it's all that. Well, maybe not. You know, power doesn't necessarily mean destructive ability. And I'm going to, or penetration, and I'm going to, not on the YouTube, but when I put this up over on the Patreon channel. And by the way, if you're not with us on our Patreon channel, you should be, because I put so much stuff over there that I don't put up on the YouTube channel. But over there, I will put up the link to one of Paul Harrell's videos. And I know, since I'm not trying to keep it a secret, just go check him if you'd like. But this is what I do for the people who belong to us on our Patreon channel, to where he compares the 45 and the 10 millimeter. And so it is not at all convincing to me that the 10 millimeter is superior to the 45 in stopping power or penetration or being able to take down a big animal, like, you know, whatever kind of big animal you might want to take down. And he uses his favorite meat target and everything like that and talks about it. But the reason that I thought, when I saw the Kentucky Gun had these on sale, I said, or had them at a great price, I said, well, I don't have a 10 millimeter, and I like to have something that will use all rounds, all ammo, all calibers that I might pick up. Okay, I'm always thinking about the big one, the big collapse, right? For those of you who may have stumbled across this and don't know who I am, I'm the one who wrote the Stonemont series about the collapse of everything, how to prepare for, how to survive, and how to rebuild after the collapse of everything. Links to my books through Amazon are down below if you'd like to read them, if you'd like to read about them, then read them. But I'm a big believer in having weapons that will chamber any round I happen to be able to pick up, right? And that's the reason that I have a 9 millimeter or two. I have one 9 millimeter pistol and one 9 millimeter carbine. Just in case I run up a bunch of 9 millimeter. I'm not a fan of 9 mil, but hey, in case I come across a bunch, I want something that'll shoot it, right? So that's kind of why I picked up this 10 millimeter. I didn't feel like spending, you know, I'm not gonna spend that kind of money on a Smith or whatever, you know. And I mean, if I want to spend that kind of money, I'll get another 45. But this was a great deal. Now, I'm going to angle this down here for people who are looking at the differences. And I've lined up, and don't worry, I'll take it out of the box in a few minutes. Just for reference, for those people who want to see the difference between a 40, a 10 millimeter, and a 45. Okay, here's your 40. Here's your 10 millimeter, which is why the 10 millimeter people love to call the 40 a 10 mil short and weak. And then here's the 45 that us 45 people, if we wanted to make fun of the 10 millimeter people, we could probably think of something, but I don't care about that. If a round is effective, it's effective. And all three of these rounds are effective. I call everything below these, whether it's the 9 mil, the 380, the whatever it is. I call those sub-effective, okay? I'm not saying that they're ineffective. I'm saying that they're sub-effective. They are not as effective as these rounds. So that just gives you a kind of a look there at the difference between the rounds. These two here, you know, the same caliber. You can tell that the 9mm would be more powerful than the 40 because you got more power. And you can tell this one would just hurt a whole bunch. Okay, let me move these off and we'll get into this box and see what's in there. Now, as you can see, it doesn't have a fancy box like Smith or any of the others, or Springfield, or I don't have any Glock, so I assume that Glock puts theirs in nice boxes. I would think that they would, or T-Sosh or any of those. So I'll turn this around, and like I say, it is the High Point JXP10 in 10mm. Okay, make sure that there's nothing in there that I think I already took out the thing with my address on it. Okay, we'll take this out, and we have our instruction manual. Which will, you know, show us all about it. And we'll, let me, okay, up there just a little bit. That's all right. That's okay. It'll tell us I need to keep an eye on the sheet, on the screen there. And it'll tell us all about it, I'm sure, you know, where the trigger is. And, oh, it tells you that mental health, it's okay to talk about it. And I'm sure that this will, you know, give me everything that I need to know, such as round opening toward bad guy and stuff like that. It's a good, at first glance, it is a very good, well put out and organized. I'm going to look forward to seeing this. It has passive internal drop safeties. It has thumb safety and manual slide lock. We'll look at that in just a second. It has, anyways, it's got some stuff. We'll get to those in a momento. I'll put that aside. Here is a picture of the pistola. Shows me that it has a threaded barrel. It has a Picatinny rail. I don't put lights on my pistols, so that doesn't mean anything to me, but I know that it does to a lot of people. It has a new style of slide with front serrations. That's good. I don't use front serrations. I do it the overhand way, but and then it has enhanced textured grips. Okay, let me take this out, and then I'll read some more about that in a minute. When I take this out, and I know, here again, you know, these have a reputation for being ugly. Ugly, like beauty, is in the eye of the beholder. I don't find it particularly ugly, to be honest with you. I tell you what, it's heavy as can be. It is, I mean, if you run out of rounds, just beat them to death with it, because it is heavy. The first thing that I did, and I already took out the, this isn't the first time I opened the box. It's, I already took out the chamber, the slide plug. So it has, it's not an ambidextrous safety. I don't care about that because I'm right-handed, and it's fine with me. It is, at first glance, I'll tell you right now, I almost love the way it feels. I really do. I almost love the way it feels. It is heavy, but I'm not one of those people who demands that my guns be light. I think I told a story some time ago about some big kid who was all concerned about how heavy my gun was, and he didn't want to have to carry a heavy gun. But I am not at all concerned about this. This isn't necessarily one that I would carry concealed at all. So if I'm going to carry this, it's going to be in a substantial holster, and there you go. The sights on it, as you can see, the sights are, you know, they're decent. There's nothing wrong with them. You got a couple of, what are they, orange or red, kind of reddish, I guess, back there on the rear sights with yellow in the front ramp. You can see that it's threaded for you know what, if you would like to to do that. It comes with one 10-round magazine, you know, to make all the California commies happy. It will not, let me get a vacuum cleaner in. It will not fire with the magazine out. So there you go on that. The trigger, I don't know. I'm going to make, it's fine with me. I am not a trigger snob. I'm going to make a second one on this when I take it to the range, and you all can watch me shoot it for the first time. Let me get back to a couple of the things we have, and then it comes with, of course, the locks, you know, that I'll throw that in the trash, and a ghost ring sight, in case you'd like to put that on. I think it's kind of nice. I'm not going to. I like my carry guns. I like my pistols to be pretty darn basic, because I don't like to worry about a lot of things. In a self-defense shooting situation, well, let me just put it this way: it is not a competition shooting situation. And when I held this for the first time, it felt darn good. I like a heavy gun, and it felt really good. Right now, somebody's out there typing furiously because they saw something in a magazine and say, you know, ounces equals pounds and pounds equals pain. Well, you know, I've carried a gun for, what now, 48 years now? I've never been particularly picky about that. I'm going to read here what else has got in there in just a second. So as the threaded barrel, Picatinny rail, new style slide, front serrations. Yeah, it makes it look cool. Makes it look like a Star Wars gun. It doesn't matter to me. Enhanced textured grips. I'll tell you, those grips do feel good. They really do. They really do feel good. And I tell you, it's unusual for me to hold a gun. Now, I don't have real mammoth hands, but I've got good sized hands. I wear an XL glove. But it is unusual for me to feel like I've got a big handful of gun, except for my Model 57. And this one, I feel like I've got a handful of gun. Now, as far as the trigger, we'll find out a little more about that. It looks plastic. That's all right. I don't care. I don't care as long as it works. I'm not going to be shooting this one 10,000 rounds or 100,000 rounds, probably. You know, I got this just so I would have something in case I ran across a bunch of 10 millimeter ammo. And we'll see if it's fun to shoot when we get over there. But as far as the trigger's concerned, I don't require a light trigger. I'm not a competition shooter. When I shoot, I'm going to shoot. When you need to shoot, you're not worrying about. As a matter of fact, a light trigger, too light of a trigger, can be a problem in a self-defense situation, you know, for people who don't shoot 100 rounds a day. Okay, we'll run down through this. I'll keep this up here so you can see it while I read. How should I hold this up? I'm not very good at this, am I? I'm probably not going to get better because I'm not going to do a lot of these things. I'll just hold it like that. So it says the model JXP. I'm going to read from the data sheet here. From the data sheet. Model JXP 10 millimeter auto data sheet. And we know they mean semi-auto or auto loader. Okay, model JXP, caliber 10 millimeter auto. Barrel length is 4.5 inch non-threaded or 5.2 threaded. This is threaded. Threaded force 578 by 28. Weight unloaded is 36 ounces. Boy, that's a brick, isn't it? Magazine capacity 10. Okay, if you want more than 10, carry an extra. Polymer frame with integral Picatinny rail, as you saw. New style slide with replaceable front sight. Last round hold open. I saw somebody, I forget who it was, that they did I think it was the demonstration done by the Kentucky gun guys, because before I bought this, I watched their demonstration on it, and it did not hold open on the first magazine they ran through it. After that, it held open just fine, so apparently they had to train it to do it. It has a chamber observation port. Okay, if you need that. Push button release, or magazine release, yes. Adjustable sights, magazine lockout safety, and a manual safety lever. Okay, I don't claim to know much about high points. I've always been kind of intrigued by them because they're just so big and ugly. And I have to say, I'm glad. I'll tell you how I got this. They had it on sale for $219, and I was explaining to my oldest son, how do you make money? I said, well, I made money on my Smith & Wesson stock. Yes, I have stock in Smith & Wesson because I believe in it. So I didn't take any money out of my pocket. I sold the shares that were necessary to buy this, and I bought it. And I'm glad I did, really. At High Point Farms, Mansfield, Ohio. That's another thing I like. Made in America. Okay, so there it is. The model JXP 10 millimeter High Point, and you might think it's ugly. I don't know. I showed it to Kelly. She said, "Well, I think that's kind of cool looking," and Aiden said he kind of liked it, and the other kids said they kind of liked it. So doesn't look like the others, right? But it's a big one. And for $219 especially, now they have, I have never had one except for that carbine, so I've never had to send any back. But I don't think I've ever had to send a Smith back or a Springfield Armory back or anything. And the guy at Kentucky Guns said that High Point has some of the lowest return rates of any of the guns that they sell. He was pretty happy with them. And so if the guys down there at KY Gun Co. like them, I took that to be an indication that it was probably a pretty good way to spend $219. So there it is, and you might check. You might see if they've still got them down there for $219 or whatever they is. I'm sure if they're, $229 is still a darn good deal. Let me try to get this back in there. Cardboard boxes. What's going on here, guys? What's going on here? You don't want to go back in? Oh, I know what it was, of course. Because the magazine wasn't in it when I took it out. Let me get this out. Magazine's a little sticky. Okay, now we'll put that back in there. I have to lube that up just a little bit. Let me come back up here so you can see me. So anyway, yeah, we'll take that over in the next couple of weeks. We'll shoot it. We'll see if it goes off and see how it feels. I like the way it feels in my hand just unloaded. It's got good heft to it. And so, like I say, if you run out and you don't have time to reload, just beat them to death with it. So okay, do what you think about that, and I'll be back in the next couple of weeks, and we'll go shoot it. You all have a good day. Remember, I do think that it's important. I will add this. I do think that it's important to have something that will chamber any kind of ammo you happen to come across. Now, there's all sorts of, exotic calibers that I couldn't care less about having, and so don't. But 10 mil, that's popular enough. Remember that we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow, and that was what I did. I prepared to be able to shoot 10 mil if any comes my way, so that I can live well tomorrow. You all have a good day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.